What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rising Light, episode 8. Today we got the first of the podcast duo-like guests. At first we've got Odis joining myself and Kit, so say hello, Kit. Oh, wait.
That's all you're getting today.
Hey, there you go. And
As
say
you fix
hello.
it.
Yep, say hello, Odis.
Hello, chat. Hello, Intrepidus. Kid.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. What about you guys?
Yeah, not too bad.
Pretty,
Go on, Kit.
I'm pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Great.
Thanks
so
for asking. Oh, crap.
So for anyone who is interested in who the music was, that was part of the plan. We always start with some part of the plan here on my channel, and part of the plan for the podcast, just because like a few of their songs are highly related in either the title of the song or in lyric, to essentially what we're trying to accomplish with the podcast. For anybody who doesn't know, we've only got Odis with us right now, just because Five tried to get out of a work thing, couldn't. He's going to be joining us a little while later. So we'll start off with just give us an intro to who you are, Odis, and I'll.
Who I am?
Yeah.
I'm just a streamer, man. No. My name's Odis. On Twitch, Odis44 Gaming, because Odis was already taken. I'm Canadian. I'm in my 30s, mid 30s. Been streaming on Twitch for like a few years, but like regularly streaming, almost a year now, or about a year now. Since I started streaming like on a regular basis. I streamed Destiny 2 stuff, PvE and PvP stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any other relevant information? I do mention it on stream, but I suffer from multiple sclerosis, which has impacted my life in a major way. I was diagnosed about 2 years ago, and that's part of the things that pushed me to start streaming.
Is that something that, like, just explain it for anybody who might not know?
Right. So multiple sclerosis is a autoimmune disease. Basically, think of your nervous system as a series of electrical wires, right?
Yep.
And all electrical wires are insulated with like a rubber exterior. That in the body is called myelin, and basically what the disease does is that my immune system attacks or eats away at the myelin around the nervous system, therefore causing a series of different symptoms that can occur anywhere from mobility issues to cognitive issues to honestly, like there's so many things that can be caused by the disease. So yeah, it's an autoimmune disease, and it goes in phases, and we could go into detail on that or in my stream anytime if you have questions. But that's the essence of it. It's basically my nervous system being attacked by my immune system.
So the fact that you are quite cracked at Destiny's PvP is a miracle, essentially.
Well, no, because I was just diagnosed a couple of years ago, right?
Okay. So you're not got to the.
Yeah, I mean,
stages then.
my first flare up was pretty severe. I had partial paralysis on the right side of my body, so I couldn't write. My face was kind of drooping. I could still walk and
Oh,
stuff.
kind of like
but
a mini stroke then.
yeah, it definitely looked like a stroke. If a doctor would see me, would be like, "You're having a stroke right now. We need to take you to the hospital." But yeah, so it came back. It really depends on the person, but I'm not. I'm only a couple of years with the diagnosis, and I mean, it could get worse. It could not get worse. It's really absolutely almost random if you want.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I remember you mentioning it in your stream, I think, but I wasn't 100% certain myself on what it all was. To be fair.
What it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they were, because a lot of the things like that, like a lot of words can be pronunciated,
Yeah.
different pronunciations depending on where you're from. It's like I try, but like so my sister's got cerebral palsy, and a lot of people think that that's just one way or another, and it's like she's okay. Last I saw her anyway,
Yeah.
which was years ago, but
I mean, you have to look into the diseases, right? You have to look
exactly.
into it. Like, you just see the worst on the news or whatever, or if you search it, you'll see the worst cases.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you actually do a little bit of research, you learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, 100%. So since we haven't got 5 here to go, because I've got obviously his Twitch stuff open as well, like ready to go into that with him. Do you want to go into like what Just Wipe It with your guys' plan and what you guys are all about with regards to that? Because I know obviously you have worked with a couple of your guys to get them all affiliated on Twitch, which is amazing.
I mean, a lot of hard work, a lot of, and it's not just me, and it's not just them. A lot of our shared community members have contributed to the success that we've had so far. So Just Wipe It is it's our Destiny 2 clan. It's had many different names over the 6.5 years that Destiny existed. Many different members. Only recently have we come together and kind of decided to market it, if you want, or brand it, or use it as a brand. To in the purpose of expanding our own communities as streamers. So for me, Phiveklub, and Sassy Jimberly, who I would say are the 3 co-founders of the clan and the team clan, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't have a stream team because we're not partnered, but I would consider it like a stream team, because we are looking on the lookout for great content creators that match with our philosophy and our ideals and whatnot.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a clan that is in Destiny 2, and our objective is literally to build a community around the clan, like it says on our Twitter profile, positive and inclusive community. Since 2019, which was when the last iteration of the clan was created. I looked it up, and that's when, because with Destiny 2 and Destiny, and us not always being streamers and coming in and out of clans, and people starting to play and then leaving and then coming in, we eventually recreated that clan in I think it was August 2019. And then we just stuck with it, and people have rolled in and out of the clan since then, but we've decided fairly recently, maybe before Christmas, we started talking about it, and we just procrastinated a little bit, but needed to focus on what we wanted. And I think that it's a good start. And for us, it means that we need to put, we're going to be putting some work into building that community for all of us, for me, for Sassy, for Five, and all the main leaders of the clan, and also the future clan members that would like to join. And obviously the focus is on positive and inclusive, 100%, because we've seen some issues with Destiny and their communities and the toxicity that can exist and that still exists. So we want to try to stay away from that as much as possible.
Yeah, funny you should mention that, because we are going to get into that a little later on today. We've got 5 now. He's in the waiting room, so I'm going to pull him in.
That's perfect.
Hey, 5, what's going on? How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How everybody doing? What's going on, fellas?
We just had Odis sort of introduce you, you guys as a clan and himself. So if you want to give yourself a little bit of an intro whilst we're on the introduction stage, go right ahead.
Sure. Yeah. Well, man, I'm pretty self-explanatory. I'm Phiveklub. I know a lot of people see P Hive, but it is Phiveklub. But I'm new to streaming in PC, but I've pretty much been in the Destiny community since, man, um, well before Taken
Since
King. I want to say, man, right after Destiny Vanilla, I would say like a month or two after Destiny Vanilla, I was part of the Destiny community. And I've pretty much been a Destiny addict since. I am primarily a PvE player, so like, man, I do everything from like, raids, raid help, grandmasters, grandmaster help. I like to try solo flawless stuff, really challenge myself in the harder aspects of the game. I was introduced to streaming primarily by my clanmates, starting with Otis and well, another clanmate. He's a PS4 player. His name Rio, but I know I never really thought that I would be doing this, but I'm so glad that I am though, because I've been able to connect with a bunch of people that are like-minded individuals such as myself. Because like I try to be a positive person, and I try to keep that type of energy around myself. So man, this
100%.
has been an absolute blast, like being able to link up with people that are like-minded and that's open to connecting with you in a positive way. And so like, man, that's what I'm all about. That's what I've been trying to build in my little community, and really, that's what our clan is trying to do as a whole.
Yeah. So one of the things we like want to do with the podcast, I know both of you have tuned in a couple times, but I'm gonna mention it again because I keep forgetting to mention it on some of the episodes, like in between Raif's episode, maybe Witty's. Yeah, I think it was Witty's episode I last mentioned it. So like the past two episodes, I haven't really mentioned it. Is basically what you have basically just said, Five. You know, sort of get a community together. So I don't know whether you guys are doing this as well with regards to like people you're going to potentially bring into um the clan. Uh, but I like whenever I'm going to watch or raid someone, like I watch them first for like a couple of hours at like a day or two of their stream, and then decide whether like it's somebody like you said, Five, like-minded, inclusive, and everything, and whether I'm going to sort of use the little bit of a community I've built up to build them up. Do you know what I mean? Same sort of mentality as you guys have got. So that's part of the Rising Lights thing, is all of us having our little bits of community, sort of try and bring them all together, connect to each other. Because who knows? There was a time where Odis did not know who Sev was. Odis was in my chat. I raided Sev. They met. Now I see him in there every bloody time I'm in there. The same thing with you five and Jimberly and Dune Marchers. I didn't know who you guys were. I met Odis through Anubis. He introduced me to all of you guys, and I've got to say, like, hanging out in your guys' chat, same as with hanging out in Odis' chat, like, I enjoy my time. So it's always going to be a thing where if I, like, personally, that's my thing, is if I enjoy my time in somebody's chat, I'm gonna do my damnedest to help build them up.
Exactly.
And as the Rising Lights like motto is, my motto is rising tides raise all shit. So as long as we're all getting this tide together to raise it up, all of us just keep getting those couple of milestones higher, keep going and going and going, you know what I mean? Then you know, we don't have to ever think like, so I would never feel like if Odis or Five, you guys, or Jim or Dune approach me a month, 2 months down the line, and I know, blown up next week, I would never feel like you guys are trying to like you know how sometimes you can feel somebody's trying to force themselves upon like collabing with you to sort of raise themselves up. I would never feel like
Yeah.
that with you guys because we sort of all built up this friendship and group. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I 100% I agree with you guys. Like everything you guys have been doing with Just Wipe It, it's great. Like from what I've seen, and oh, get rid of that. That's a DM from Han. I actually took a screenshot of playing like with you guys and us doing pretty well in PvP 5. So might not be a PvP player, but you can do well.
I'm okay. I got my moments.
Right. So we've covered Odys's, covered 5, covered the clan. If anybody wants to go and follow any of the guys on Twitch, their links will be in the description of the YouTube video. Same with the Twitter for Just Wipe It, and it's you guys are retweeting each other from the clan anyway, aren't you? So if they want to find
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you guys,
I mean,
Twitters will be on
the first step
Twitch
is definitely follow the clan Twitter.
yeah.
I'm doing both right now, and it's a lot. But you know what? It's not that difficult, right?
Do you
'Cause
know
I'm just
what?
kind of yeah.
I did
Yeah.
it. I did it.
Yeah.
Back in Call of Duty Ghosts and Advanced Warfare, I did clan Twitter, clan YouTube channel, my own of both. And then I was helping people get their stuff situated as well. Then also planning on doing a clan Twitch account as well. It's like, yeah, no more. Too stressed.
Yeah, no,
Forget
that's like
that.
too much on your plate.
Exactly.
To start with, right?
I was
So,
trying to spin all
now,
these
like,
plates and it all just fell apart. It's like, yep, nope,
Yeah.
nope, not anymore.
just the retweets and the likes is fine with me right now.
Yeah.
Because if it starts getting too
Absolutely.
big, I'm gonna lose track of which account
I
I'm
do
on. And
I
then,
do love the
know.
like the latest tweet from the clan though. It's a good friend of ours, Witty, who we've had on the podcast, internal
Yeah.
comms. I thought that was brilliant. You was introducing yourself and talking about the clan Odis, and I was just like silently in stitches reading that. I hadn't
It
seen
was
that
a
yet, but it
clever
was
thing.
brilliant.
I laughed so hard when I was reading it.
Witty is like to his name, he is witty. Like let's put it that way.
He nailed that one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's get started on the Twitch topic. We did initially have 3, which I sent the screenshot to you guys, but we dropped the bottom one. So if you've got that screenshot like open, don't worry about that bottom. We're only going to cover the Twitch official game, like the official Twitch gaming channel being sort of put off from DMCA.
I've been very, very cautious.
Yeah,
about it.
they're being very cautious. And then we're going to cover the Lexus result from a couple of weeks back. We spoke about a Lexus that they were transforming into like a gamer car essentially. So
Okay.
but yeah, so I've used Slasher on. I don't know if you guys know who Slasher is. Rob Breslau. Sort of a freelance esports Twitch reporter, if you want to call it,
Okay.
journalist.
Commentator.
Yeah,
journalist.
on
Okay.
Twitter. He does write a few articles here and there. I can't remember the last time I saw one, but in fact, just to read his like bio thing up on screen, it says esports consultant, insider, competitive gaming leader, internet culture expert. But there we go. But yeah, basically he shares a tweet of a video which is basically Metallica performing at BlizzCon. But rather than playing the Metallica sound on Twitch gaming channel, they played some 8-bit folk music to avoid DMCA.
I saw that. I was laughing so hard.
I mean, this is a Twitch official channel. So what do you guys like think of that? Like, do you think it's a bit far for Twitch to be doing that, or they should have got like a license or something to be able to broadcast this? Or
Well, it was at BlizzCon, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little delicate because we don't know how much of Twitch's legal issues are with actual DMCA, right? All we hear about is the streamers getting those emails or getting banned for DMCA or temporary bans for a few days or whatever. So we don't know the extent of that, right? I think that the reason why they did that was, first of all, to cover their asses, and second of all, to try to, and I'm doing air quotes right now. You can't see me, but air quotes, uh, sh- uh, uh, do an example of what of what streamers should do if they're streaming like copyrighted content, and also somebody did mention it's like Metallica was like at the core of the copyrights saga with Napster and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that.
I remember Napster, but I'm not old enough to remember like the legal side of it. Like I'm literally,
Yes.
for anyone who is wondering, I'm 28 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
So Napster, for you youngsters out there, was a a music download or sharing service. So basically, you could go and you wanted to hear this song, you'd go on Napster, search the song, download it, boom, you had it. You didn't have to buy the CDs and stuff like that. And that was, what was that? Early 2000s.
The 2000s, yeah.
Early 2000s, and it was all the rave, because then people would download all the songs from an upcoming album or a recently released album, and then they would burn the CDs and sell them, to people at their school or at their work or whatever, and you'd pay $10 to get the newest Eminem CD or the newest Metallica CD or the whatever band you can think of or group you can think of, and you would be able to get their music for $10 at a time where buying the CD at the record store was $25 or something like that. Ridiculous amount of money. And Metallica was amongst many other organizations, bands, artists who fought for the closure of Napster, which occurred maybe like 2.5 years after that. Huge legal disputes, etc., etc. So I think that that's another reason why, specifically for that occurrence, Twitch was kind of backing their asses up, because Metallica was the centerpiece of that, and they were still fighting many years after Napster was shut down, even.
Or for like
So
legal damage stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like they were in court for 5 to 10 years easily, just to try to get their money back or compensation.
I've got another line of this really, as to I'm kind of curious. Was it actually Twitch that did that, or were they basically relaying a feed they were getting from Blizzard, and whoever was managing the stream for Twitch to relay did it their end?
That's a good question.
I
Because the
mean,
thing, if they've got them to perform live, and they're like, "Yeah, great, you can perform live," and they're like, "Well, we're going to stream this," and then they're like, "Well, you don't have a license to stream it. What? Because then it's not even in Twitch's ballpark then."
well, from the sound of things, like reading a couple of the tweets, that he's like elaborated, they Twitch production team transitioned seamlessly to 8-bit music, but it was even better watching BlizzCon Twitch streamers co-streaming BlizzCon frantically hit their mute button, so they don't get banned for playing 2 seconds of Saint Anger, which is I hadn't heard a lot of the new like Metallica stuff, but
Yeah.
So from the sound of things,
Blizzard-
it was just on the Twitch gaming channel, and if you went to Blizzard's official like Twitch channel, you went to like the Play Overwatch channel, I think is the one that we're actually using, or you went and watched it on YouTube, it was playing the Metallica music. It was just on, from the sound of things anyway. I haven't actually like looked into it.
Okay.
But yeah, like I just thought personally, I thought it was funny. It's like I said, I feel like they should have got some sort of license, if you
Rights.
will, right?
Yeah, license. I mean,
Especially
Blizzard's
like,
paying them to perform, right? So
yeah, exactly.
if Blizzard's gonna allow Twitch, or if they're gonna be streaming it on Twitch, then they have the license for it, right? They're paying the artists to be performing at that time, so there shouldn't have been a problem. If you're allowing people to co-stream it, then there shouldn't have been a problem because they were already getting their money for their performance. So I think it's the people at Twitch overreacting, or like I said, trying to show an example of
Yeah.
how you manage DMCA.
Just, but just being, if I could just interject, being honest, I think that like everything that Twitch has been doing from the start is just like sort of drastic, and there haven't been any like real alternatives, apparently including for themselves for this. And the only reason that like I'm kind of like not really giving them a pass on this is because it's not like DMCA laws like came out of the blue, you know, what 3-4 months ago, and it's like, this big thing has hit us now, and now we don't know what to do. This is stuff that has always been in place. You know, record companies decide in a certain moment, all right, you know what?
Was
Some people are making money off of us. It's time for us to crack down on this law.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not having something in place to to inform us as streamers. No, mean no matter how big or small, and protect us from stuff like this. I think they've like dropped the ball like big time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, being that they are affiliated with Amazon, obviously, like I just can't believe anybody, no one on the legal team like thought that part through.
to be honest, I've heard a very good like rebuttal sort of thing for the DMCA is like if people are paying for Amazon Music, like or
Mhm.
Amazon Prime, and I think you get Amazon Music as part of it,
Mhm.
then you
get
should be able,
some.
well, you should be able to
That's a
basically
valid view.
use
Yeah.
Amazon Music to stream music to Twitch and not have an issue at all. And I don't normally like
Yeah.
censor myself like that, but
Yeah, I was gonna say as
That
well,
makes sense.
with you saying before that, like, the DMCA stuff didn't come out of nowhere. Like, yeah, there's been a heavy push for enforcement of it recently, but it's been a thing since before 2000.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it was because of the DMCA like law that they were able to do that thing with Napster that you mentioned.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Copyright laws. Copyright laws have existed for longer than
It's funny though, because
20 years. You know.
it's funny though, because Kit linked me a video once when I was like, oh, I don't even know what fucking DMCA is.
Yeah.
And he basically, it was just explaining all the different things. It was actually just basically brought in to stop big companies like Napster, you know, making money off of other companies. Like, not even designed to affect, little guys, streamers.
Right.
It's supposed to be like stop huge ass companies taking copyright from huge ass companies. So,
See, it was designed for the sort of scenario where you'd have someone doing like a big television ad or a film or something, and using music from like this label's band or whatever without
Mhm.
paying for it. It was that sort of scale.
Absolutely. And to piggyback on what Intrepidus was saying, and also Five, it's Amazon, dude. You can't tell me that you haven't found a way to integrate that into your platform. You know what I mean? Like, you own Amazon Music, you own Twitch. Okay, those are both, web-based applications. You can't tell me that there's not one freaking software engineer on the entire planet that can't make it so that they'll be integrated, and then discuss with the copyright laws, with the DMCA enforcers, how to go about using Amazon Prime Music to get those artists that are getting paid. If you don't want to, people who are, if you're able to, artists that you're able to play on Amazon Music get royalties from the plays, from the the views or whatever you want to call them. So you can use that system and integrate it with your stream. You know what I mean?
Even if it takes, sorry, I was just going to chip in here. Even if
Mhm.
it takes playing the music, just like Amazon Music, through a different site, like if you just play it through regular Amazon Music,
Mhm.
it's just like you playing it normally. but let's say you've got like, I don't know, even if it's like a section in like a section on Twitch, you've got a player on Twitch that you use instead, and obviously that the players through there are tracked separately for going, okay, these were played on stream.
And here's the thing: I've seen a rebuttal for stuff like, "Oh, well, you can just, you know, connect Spotify to Twitch, connect Amazon Music to Twitch." I've seen a rebuttal saying, "Oh, well, you know, me playing, just because Metallica's on, the screen right now and sort of the subject of the beginning of this discussion, Enter Sandman. Me playing Enter Sandman to 10 people only counts as me playing it once." And the same with like Katie Cat, who we all know, playing it to 100 people, it only counts as one like recording.
One play.
Yeah. And that's how they get paid through those platforms. If, as you guys have just said, it was like integrated some way on Twitch, like we've got the little button that, Twitch Prime rewards stuff. You have another little button that's Amazon Music, and people sign up for it. It plays through stream. It's connected to your stream, so then you can, like, in the backing files of Twitch and Amazon Music, they can see how many viewers you were having at a given time where that music was played. They can then go, okay, right, so Intrepid has played this song an hour into his stream. He had 10 viewers. Slap another 9 listens on that track.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If they could, like you said, there's not a software engineer on the planet that could not make that system automated to where it just goes, okay, you have 10 viewers. That counts as 10 listens rather than just 1.
I refuse to believe it's not been at least considered at some point, because they've got watch parties and that uses Prime Video.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True. Watch parties. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do a watch party, and any viewer with Amazon Prime will be able to watch the show and or movie that you're watching through your stream through the watch party.
There you go. Okay, let's move on to the Lexus. What was it they were doing? IS 350?
So
I didn't even know about this, by the way. This is the first I'm hearing.
Okay, so we covered it a few weeks ago when they were sort of gearing up for it. They had on a particular Twitch stream, I can't remember whose channel it was. I'll probably say it's somewhere in the article.
I'll see if I find it while you're talking.
But they were going to make a sort of like a gamer edition IS350 concept.
Wow.
And they had like, do you remember? I don't know if you were watching the GlitchCon event, but when they did the Let's Build a Game thing, they had like the polls for what went into the game and what type of game and how it played and stuff.
Okay.
So they did that sort of thing with polls for like, okay, well, if we had like, as one of the titles in the article there says, a vehicle for gamers, by gamers, and of gamers, right? What features would you want in the car? How would you style it? What kind of liveries and stuff would you use? And this article has a load of images of what the resultant thing was.
There it is. Boost.
There we go.
I looked through the entire article and I only just found it, and it's right at the bloody top. One thing I did notice, though, at the bottom, it does say, like most concepts, the Gamers IS will never see the light of day, but it's interesting to see.
Which is a shame, because
with that giant TV in the middle of the console, dude. That's safe. That's real safe.
The thing is, though, right?
It's like beyond distracted. That's hilarious.
Move that a bit. Maybe use like a slightly smaller monitor. That's just in front of the passenger.
Yeah.
Or like put it in the back.
Right.
It's a possibility.
I just find these things silly, dude. Like, why?
That's crazy.
It goes back to like the 90s to early 2000s show of Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
The freaking hot tub in the back.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love watching that, 'cause I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like they can put a hot tub in a car. Wow, what?
Right.
But I couldn't imagine actually like driving one of them and be like, oh yeah, dude, I've got a hot tub in my car. Do you want to just hop in and let's chill? Like,
Oh yeah, like having the lights everywhere in there is going to be hella distracting, even if you didn't have like the PC on the passenger seat.
But look
the
at all that.
thing as well is
Yeah.
the why is it's obviously a marketing exercise. It's to get people talking about the car in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
And I
No.
mean, we are, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
just looking at this,
as
it
a
looks like if I had the option and the money, I wouldn't drive it, but like have it parked in the garage somewhere, and I would just like go in there when I want to stream something, like I'm playing Destiny
stream
or
from the
whatever.
car.
Stream from the car, yeah.
I do have to say though, as a child of road trips, okay, our family and I used to drive down to Florida from where we at in Canada, and it's about it's a 2-day drive, okay,
Wow.
because we would obviously can't drive 24 hours there, gotta sleep, so we would stop, and then as a child of road trips like that, having the vehicles that we have now, like the minivans with the TVs and video games, that would be lit. That would be awesome because it would make the trip go so much
Not
faster.
only that, you can get like
So-
5G donk stuff as well, like to
Yeah,
Yep.
be able to play online. Like,
I can see the purpose in that, but in a gamer car for gamers, by gamers, and of gamers, like, what do you want me to do? You want me to like play Call of Duty while I'm driving? I can't do that. And like even as a passenger, I'm like I'm gonna be distracting the hell out of the driver, with my sick plays.
yeah,
I'm
or you
like
get
a-
shot, or you get shot up and killed
You start yelling.
as you're on a you're about to drop a nuke on the enemy team and you get shot to shit and killed, and you're like, fuck, and the driver's going like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah. Throw the controller at the driver. You hit a bump and it caused me to die. Like it's your fault.
I love it.
Hilarious.
I love it. That's brilliant.
I'm glad we had you guys on this week. This is
Yeah, it's good. This is great. But one thing I
fun,
will say, the live stream that they had hosted by Foosly did get more than 554,000 unique viewers who
Wow.
who
Wow.
voted on the spec, including
That's a lot.
the exterior wrap, the custom controller, of the ultimate gaming space, they call it.
what I find amusing there is looking at your stream trap.
Mm.
It's an article about a Lexus car.
Yeah, and his Lexus
Look
ads
all
all
the
over the place except one Mercedes one at the bottom. It's brilliant.
Product placement, man.
Yeah. It's funny because like all the adverts are cars as well. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But I mean, it looks cool. It looks hella
This-
cool. Like the inside
Yeah,
of
it
it looks
look hella
beautiful. Aesthetically, it's gorgeous, But
Nah.
I
Just
wouldn't
not
spend the money
functional.
on that. I'd just buy a house instead, man, because that's probably how
Yeah.
much it costs.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, if you got like a minivan or something, you've got like a gaming setup in the back, and there's this whole thing of you can game on the road,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, I'm gonna stop like midway down the, you guys, I don't know whether you guys call them motorways over there as well, but I know the US call them highways. You can stop off at a service station, like get your ass in the back and just play a few games of Destiny, Call of Duty, whatever game takes your fancy, and then carry on with your journey down, like you said, towards whatever destination you're going to, like that sort of thing. Yeah, 100%. We need more cars like that, but something like this where it's just legit, like you said, the huge ass screen in the passenger seat, it's just gonna be distracting. Oh hell.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
That's
I'm just gonna go get my food.
Yep, that's cool.
No problem.
We're gonna start covering the
that's cute.
Destiny thing.
All right.
So if you we all play Destiny.
things.
We all play Destiny, all four of us. Obviously we're gonna try and keep a few of the more meaty subjects so when Odis is back, but one of the things that we are going to cover is they released an article last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Regarding the growth in Bungie and the fact that they've got a couple of people been appointed to the board of directors, including Viacom CBS, Palmer, whoever that is, I have no idea, but basically, there is a bunch of, as it says here, Bungie welcomes new members to the board of directors from the entertainment and media industry, Trace Harris and Palmer. So, from the sound of things, and we've all, seen the theories and spitballing and stuff like that on Twitter and wherever else. We've been doing it in our streams, me and Kit and a couple of other friends, and I'm pretty sure you probably have as well, Five. It sounds like they're going to be doing a more extended Destiny universe in a sense that we're going to get like comics, books, TV shows, whatever it may be, similar to what we started to get with Halo towards the end of its life cycle with Bungie, and we've continued to have with Halo since 343 took over, with Halo 4. What are your hopes, thoughts on this, and the fact that obviously as part of this they are also expanding Bungie HQ and going international at the same time?
Right. It was a fantastic idea because like the lore of Destiny is so rich and like honestly it's just freaking good. It's so good. Like they can't incorporate it and they haven't incorporated it in the game right. And I think they finally realized that they are literally sitting on a gold mine
Yeah.
and they're going to find a way, to your point, to relate a story from a different spectrum. I think, especially if they're going to international, like maybe a potential anime style type of deal, like you said, like I'm really seeing them actually probably bringing the lore to life. Movie, I don't know because I mean it'll be like a pretty long movie. I mean I don't know how you'll get through all that, in a put it
Well,
in
I
a two
mean,
3 hour movie.
I suppose with a movie they could do something along the lines of episodic, kind of like Star Wars, but at the
That
same
makes sense.
time, to that point, there was plans for a Halo movie that basically just mainly focused back when Bungie was in charge of Halo, that mainly focused on the one key battle, which was covered more so in Halo Reach and towards they started to have like flashbacks from like Halo Wars, which was they basically wanted to cover the thing with Reach, so the destruction of Reach, the glassing of Reach, however you wanna cover it. But they also wanted to cover like flashbacks of a character back to the War on Harvest, which is basically where humanity met the alien races that are the enemies in Halo Covenant. So it was sort of canned, if
I'm
you
back,
will,
brother.
because it was supposed to be alright, Odis. It was canned just because of budget, and it was supposed to be like directed by Peter Jackson, and it's supposed to have this huge ass budget because it was Microsoft, and the whole Halo branding, they were gonna push it huge, and it was like it was canned apparently because it hit over a $30 million budget or something. Like they had a budget set for it of like 30 mil, and they made one Warthog, which is the truck that you might have seen a video or a game, like there used to be a on a flash game, there used to be like place a grenade underneath a Warthog and get it to do flips and you earn points and all that. Like they made one, yeah, for the film, to use as a prop, but they wanted it to be able to run. I think they had a Dodge Ram engine in it or something. Like they had like worked with Dodge and some other companies maybe to sort of get this thing built. And essentially, it was a smaller monster truck. And that cost them $1 million easily.
Holy shit.
So they had and it was a transport one, if I remember correctly as well, transport Warthog. So they didn't even like attach any of the guns that are in the Halo universe that onto it. They didn't like have a custom model built for that. They just made the transport hog because then they could sort of, with clever CGI, green screens and all that, they could make
Yeah.
any time they wanted to use the gunner warthog, they could just like CGI it all. But yeah, it was basically just cant. So I don't see it being a movie so much. I do see, as you said, them using knowledge of TV shows and stuff to make those sort of products for people to consume. And
I think there's potential, for a show or a movie. The thing you need to think about is that technology has advanced so much in
True.
terms of filmmaking in the last decade, even 2 decades. When you consider, you're talking about Halo and Halo having a movie planned originally, et cetera, et cetera. They have technology now that didn't have back then to lower their budget, right? So I think that it's definitely possible. Look at the Mandalorian, for example. Mandalorian,
yeah, true. That does look like
you
it's
know,
film quality, but it's a TV show.
exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, now thinking about it, but again, to your point, I do feel like they have realized they're sitting on a gold mine. I'm not being funny. If you only have to look at 2 people on YouTube, is Mylan Games and My Name is Bife, to know that they are sitting on a gold mine. Like Bife has
Literal gold mine.
Bife has a Destiny story so far video, 4 hours long. He covered it once. I think it was on podcast that he does with Unknown Player. Basically saying it's quite clear that the Destiny community wants the lore to be accessible and easily digestible, not just it's a lore tab on a gun, go and read it, or go and read the Ishtar Collective, or what we used to have back in D1, with the Grimoire, because of this 4.5 hour video that he's got. That's the Destiny so far up until Destiny story so far up to Season of Rivals, I think it is. Or it might be up to Shadowkeep, and then he's done another one.
I think it was Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
I watched that
Shadowkeep.
4-hour thing, by the way.
Exactly.
I watched the whole thing.
That's what I was getting to. He said like 95% of people who have watched that video, and it's got like in excess of tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. 95% of people have watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because you can check that with analytics. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't watch it in one sitting, but I had it saved. I'm like, okay, this is the time, and then I go back and I reload the page and start back where I was.
yeah,
because
I listened to it while I was doing family shit, like almost as if it was a podcast.
Did the same.
the Destiny universe has it's so in depth. It's almost as in depth as World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft has a deep lore. Deep lore. They even have books and all that stuff. Like it's you can even like say it's almost like Star Wars. The Star Wars universe has all of the books, and all of the books were approved by Lucas, the Lucas company, George Lucas, and all that stuff. So it might not be canon, but it's all stuff that is integrated into the universe, right? So Bungie has done something along those lines, but on their own, just with bits and pieces of lore here and there, and then they can draw out an entire story from one piece of lore.
But yeah, I personally think like the whole thing of expanding the HQ that they've currently got in, where is it, Washington? Bellevue, yeah, Washington. Bellevue, Washington. Expanding that, and then also looking at doing a new sort of HQ, if you will. I think the rumors I've heard is like Amsterdam. Yeah. 2022, Bungie will open its first international office in Amsterdam. So I really do think, and the fact that they've changed people around as well, as we've got up on screen now, key personnel, addition, investment announced, blah blah. Long story short, Luke Smith is now overseeing the Destiny universe as the executive creative director, rather than just of the game. He's overseeing the universe, what's making us believe, all this TV show talk and films and stuff is possible. Then you've got Mark Noseworthy as the vice president of the Destiny universe. And I do believe, is it Joe Blackburn or whatever, the guy who's just done the state of the game today. He is taking over as like the creative lead on Destiny 2 overall, right?
Joe Goroth.
That's it.
Assistant game director, I think was his title.
Director.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the article.
Yeah, but I think that's a great move because, and for me, obviously we're going to get to it in a little bit with the state of the game that we had. I don't know if I've had time to read it, but
I
in any
definitely
case,
did.
yeah, I think that everyone can agree, and this is no shade on Luke Smith, okay? Everyone can agree that Luke Smith had kind of lost his way to a certain extent. And I'm not throwing shade at him. I just think that when you're in a position like that for a long time, you lose focus.
Well, it's one
you
of
lose
them.
Focus.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
I feel like it was one of them. He was in charge of Taken King, right? Was in charge of like differences, the changes that they were going to make when it came to Forsaken, and that's why they turned around and went, you know what? The community loves everything that you come up with, and you're advancing the game and making it so that the community sort of can rally behind the game and enjoy it and all that. So putting you as the head, like the creative director of the game, then can only mean good things. And then the fact was that split from Activision making creative changes, as we all know they did with Destiny 1. Like year one, they probably had a couple fingerprints in, a couple changes that were made in the seasonal model after Forsaken, and they basically probably, I'm assuming essentially, which you shouldn't do, but that Activision essentially turned around to Bungie and went, okay, we're gonna leave the big, huge like expansion just in your court. We're gonna help you market the fuck out of them. We're gonna give you the use of the studios to build the content and stuff. But when it comes to the seasonal shit, we're gonna have a finger in the pie sort of thing, and it's gonna be a huge focus on making all of us a whole shit ton of money.
Yep.
And then obviously the community doesn't see it that way. They see it as Bungie's releasing it, therefore Luke Smith and people who are front facing at Bungie, who do have Twitter accounts, and this is another thing that we're going to get onto in a bit. They are the ones that get the shit for it from the and I do I do feel for them, and to a certain degree I agree with you, Odis. But there's only so much you can do as a person when you are dropped into an already shitstorm. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like they've made the right progression under Luke, and will continue to, with him being, the universe's creative director. But the things we've already seen from Joe, with like state of the game and stuff like that, already, as you said, make him look like bringing him on as the new like lead in the game. Is already saying, look, we've looked at Destiny with fresh eyes, and this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna change. And it's already, so far from what I've seen on Twitter, it's a massive success with everybody. There are a few, people going, well, until I see it actioned upon, I'm gonna stay reserved. But how I'm reading it, I really like. So, like, even the people that are trying to stay, pessimistic in a sense of they want to be optimistic, but they've been let down before.
Mm-hmm.
Or even saying, they're hyped for it, but they're trying to keep themselves reserved so they don't get disappointed again. You know what I mean?
The other thing that was in this that I just want to very, very quickly mention was that there were people there was a bit of hype sort of going behind what they're doing outside of Destiny. So a lot of us already knew that they're working on a different IP.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one was with either Tencent or some other similar company. And they mentioned in this one that they're going alongside with the next generation of leaders with Bungie and stuff. They've got plans to bring at least one new IP to market before 2025. And we didn't have a timescale like that
Yeah, we did.
until now.
Which
Well,
is,
until the 18th.
where is it?
It's at the end of the key personnel.
At the end of Keepers. There it is. Yeah. So yeah, as you said, Kit, we didn't have a time set for it. And it's interesting as well because Sarah Daniels, who is a streamer for part of the Destiny community, her husband, boyfriend, fiance, one of the two, three even.
Yeah.
He is actually the game director, I believe, for that. Maybe a different IP, but he is. His Twitter bio is literally creative director at Bungie for Redacted. So it could be that IP, it could be another one they're working. Who knows? They could have multiple ones going up at once. But one thing we do want to sort of like quickly gloss over and get a little bit into the Road to Witch Queen and the the state of the game thing is there's a weekly challenge this week which has ties
Yeah.
that are unintentional to
Yeah.
one of the Nazi slogans that was used by the Hitler Youth in World War II. So they use the German phrase "Blut and Ehr," which basically means blood and honor. And so there is a weekly challenge that is called Blood and Honor. Bungie has apologized and says it's unintentional, which I agree. I think it's true.
It's good that they've sort of responded fairly quickly and gone, okay, that's unintentional. We're going to work on it. We need to,
Yeah.
it's got through vetting. It's because they will proofread all this stuff to make sure like there's no.
At the same time, it is related to the Cabal, and that might be just what they were thinking. It is
because
related.
because they look at it and go, okay, that's very clearly related to the Cabal and everything. But they're not the only ones that have had a similar problem. Like, what was it? Yeah, so there we go. This particular English phrase has been used in other fictional works that don't appear to be intentionally referencing the Nazis. Or like Might and
No.
Magic 7 for Blood and Honor, World of Warcraft and Star Wars novels. But then at the same time, you got to try and be aware of things going on around the world as well. And that saying there, it's also the name of a British neo-Nazi group with offshoots in the States. That's not really what you want to have in a game. Any kind of connotation to that is no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was something that was
Yeah,
obviously
I agree.
intentional.
I agree as well. And I don't know how you guys will feel about this, but I think what are we gonna do for the rest of the time to stay away from the words in like some combination blood and honor? There needs to be a degree of depowering that combination in that connotation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And more of a here, this is what it is for sort of thing. It's not nothing to do with that. It is just we're using this because they are, fighting for the blood of the Cabal people, and all they have left is their honor.
It's
Boom.
their honor, yeah.
Like, is there an actual in-game thing that is relating it to the Nazi thing? No.
It
In
just
my
brings us
opinion,
back
no.
to remember that arm piece there that had
Oh,
some
the
graphics
hunter
on it.
arm. Yeah, the
Yeah,
hunter
the
arm.
Hunter arms that
yeah.
had the graphics on it that was the logo for a neo-Nazi group, something like that. I think that, and maybe this is a culture difference, right?
Funnily
Because
enough,
you guys
that's an article that's like recommended after this one.
Yep.
you guys are in the UK, right? So
Yeah.
you're closer to Germany, and things like that might come up more often.
We have a German friend.
Right. And I think it's just for me, when I'm reading that quest, I'm not thinking of that at all. You know what I mean? It's not it's not popping into my mind, and that could be just a cultural thing. It could be just me being ignorant. Because when I look at those things, all I think is Destiny lore and Destiny context. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a little bit of the same when the person is writing it, and I think there's also a little bit of people on the outside of Destiny, you know, nitpicking a little bit. Um, I think it's great that they went out and they got ahead of it and made an apology. It's like it wasn't intentional, et cetera, et cetera. Is not related. Same with the graphic, right? Um, but to a certain extent, I agree with you, Intrepidus. It's like at some point we need to kind of be realize like, hey, that those words can come up into a sentence and many different things and not have any relation
Exactly.
to the Nazis or anything like that. So I think that it's good, like Kit said, it's good that they went ahead and sent out an apology and said, look, it was not intentional. We apologize. We've made an adjustment or whatever it is that they did to to tweak it, but we just take it and move on at that point.
Well, the actual statement, they've got it here. Because originally, when they wrote this article, it said Bungie did not respond to a request to comment how the phrase had come into use in the game, whether it was aware it was connected to Nazism, plan to take it out, etc. Then it says update spokesperson tells Taku, that's the article written by, the reference to blood and honor, anti-Semitic references are unintentional and will be addressed in upcoming patch. They provided the following statement. Any connection to anti-Semitism in Destiny is completely unintentional. Destiny is empathetically committed to inclusion and human rights and will never stand for anti-Semitism. We are already preparing fixes in an upcoming patch, and we apologize to all of our players that were hurt by the reference, and we are grateful for our community for bringing their concerns to our attention.
With regards to the note they had at the bottom of that article, where they said, when they first wrote it and spoke to them or tried to speak to them, they didn't get back, like in what they thought to be a reasonable time frame.
Yeah.
From when they sent the initial email out, I would imagine that they were looking for people whose heads were going to roll because they were trying to chase down, okay, how has this happened? Who was responsible for this piece of content on this particular project and stuff, and trying to track everyone down to go, okay, how did this happen? How can we stop it happening again before they issue out the statement?
Yeah, exactly. There was going to be someone on the design team who, or the Triumph team or whatever it is, that just went, you know what? They're spilling blood and they're fighting for the honor of the Cabal. Because that's all they've got left, we mentioned. And it's that makes sense. Put it in. It's a weekly challenge. That's what it probably is. And it's been put in, and like you said, it's been overlooked. And like you said, Kit, in the time frame that they've given. In fact, let's have a look. It says update 4:34 Eastern.
All right.
Hey, Lee with the follow. And they published this article 3 hours before. So
yeah, what was he expect? He expected.
So for those 3 hours, then maybe they were, like you said, looking for people who were responsible for putting it in the game.
Yeah.
I think as part of the statement, they say they're already preparing fixes in an upcoming patch. So they found, obviously they've been made aware that it's a thing, and before they even managed to get the statement out, they've started working on like, okay, change it.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's a good thing. And I don't know, just pointing out kind of the obvious too. Like, I mean, that whole thing, that whole thing within the community when they started doing the BLM emblems or whatever, and people
Yeah.
having issues with all that stuff. I'm sure if they're willing to take flack for something like that, they're not going to intentionally go out here and
Exactly.
Yeah.
and do something dis blatant again to the point in this statement against human rights just of people in general. You can't go out there and say I'm human rights with this person for this group of people and then turn around the next minute and intentionally put something like this in your game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It was completely unintentional. Like you said, somebody probably just had a good solid idea and it just made sense. It flowed with what they was going for as far as the theme of the season.
Hmm.
To me, no harm, no foul there. Of course, you can't make assumptions, of course, by anyone at any point, but you can kind of like at least evaluate facts
Right.
of a
Yeah.
situation and be able to make a clear assessment and fair assessment of a situation like that. So it's like no harm, no foul, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like you can't be certain. Like it's not impossible that a person wouldn't do that on purpose, but it's highly unlikely that they would. You know what I mean? Like Five said, the whole BLM thing, LGBTQ plus. I don't know if I said those in order, but whatever, the emblems and the things that they've been doing in terms of human rights and towards the community and the population around the game. To me, it makes no sense that this would be somebody go in there and just be like, oh, let me just put in my hate right here, specifically right there for people to notice.
Yeah. Speaking of hate and hating on people and stuff, if you got the thingy video open, Trap,
The thing
you
for
can transition to that.
the get fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cover that real quick because I want to tell this guy to get fucked. Long story short, it's only a 24-second video. I'm gonna just quickly break it down, give my thoughts, and then if you guys want to, cover it after, we'll talk about it after that. Apparently, by the way, this is not the first time, from what I've heard. One, I don't want to share my source on that, but two, I'm not sure because I've not seen it. Apparently, it's not the first time that someone from this group or someone related to this group has been in traumatized in regards to like community managers. But yeah, we'll just play the
never know.
clip
actually just killed me.
essentially.
Nice.
They're playing trials.
Good shit, man.
And so one thing I will do right here is pause it. About 10 seconds in, they're up to, they're in the air. They're doing the Titan Punch. I don't know how to do this infinite Titan Punch stasis.
It's a glitch.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go. It's the glitch. They're pointing it out whilst they're in a game with the community manager. Congratulations. You just showed the community manager an issue that he might not have been aware of, that he could take to the developers, and they can make a change. Congratulations, you just did something great for the community. But then, you go and carry on and basically screw yourself over. He's just stood there taking it. That was DMG that he killed. Right? He stood there taking it. What's the likelihood that he's just clicking that so he can take it and go, look, this is an issue we've got to the developer.
Nice.
People are saying that the issue is that he is, shooting the body, that he's teabagging. I'm sorry, if you're a community manager of anything, you play at a pro level of any game, you get killed. Likelihood is other people who recognize you are going to teabag you and shoot your body and sort of give you a little bit of trash talk essentially without actually talking to you and saying, look, I'm better than you, haha, fuck you.
To that point, we don't have any major complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The tweet saying get fucked, nice shit game, for one, he's a community manager. Does not deserve the disrespect. is just doing his job and being a front-facing person, providing information from the basically being the connection between the community and the developers. That's kind of his job description as a community manager.
Right.
As he said in I think it might have even been Joe might have said it in the state of the game, or it might be in the Twaba, because I did give it a quick look as we was loading it up. They started as players of the game. They didn't start out, working for Bungie. And then posting it to Twitter. One, you're gonna get all these, retweets, likes, and all this, that, and the other. Like, for one, just look toxic shit as far as I'm concerned. For two, the stance I took on it, and I said this to our friend Han, who does actually turn around, like the German that we mentioned a minute ago, mine and Kit's friend. He actually, because he's like gone away, played Warframe, come back, gone away, played another game, come back. He actually keeps going, whenever he's on his I'm about to switch to another game track, he's always like, oh, Destiny shit, fuck this game. I can't believe I keep coming back to this thing. Like, my argument was, and I'll continue to say it to anybody that says Destiny is shit, Destiny is the bad game, however you want to phrase it. If it's so bad, go and play something else. The issue I take is for people like this who are, he says it in his little thing that's on my relevant people on the right there. Stream sometimes, and then a link to his Twitch. Alright? The people like this that are making content around the game that aren't going to Switch, like I know you've been playing Apex, Odis. If he's of the opinion that it's so shit, and yet he's still playing it, the way I look at it, and I don't know whether you would agree with me, the pair of you and Kit, the way I look at it is, you are too scared that you yourself cannot carry your community and content across to another game. 2, your community is only there for the game and not for you, and therefore, technically isn't actually your community, the game's community. There are obviously going to be people on Twitch that are and YouTube that are literally just there to watch one specific game. But that's the whole thing of building up a community and building up friendships with said community is when you play another game in hopes that a lot of them will come. And like a key example is another friend of mine and Kit that we met through Bean is Ronin or Legion, as his username used to be. He has known Bean for 6-7 years. Watched him for ages. He doesn't like Destiny at all. He hates it. But he will always be in my chat. He'll always be in Kit's chat. He'll always be in Bean's chat, regardless of whether we're playing Destiny or not. In fact, I'm looking right now because I have all 3 of those chats integrated into my OBS, and obviously that's how I'm streaming it. Bean has his set to monthly, so I'm not 100% certain regards to that. But in Kit's chat, you have your set to all time, right, Kit?
Yeah.
He is the top gifted sub in Kit's chat. He's the top donor in bit. In my chat, he's the top gifted sub, and I think he actually ends up being about 4th in bits. I can't remember. Not that that's what it's all about, but the fact that it just goes to show that despite the fact that me especially,
even if he doesn't like the game,
yeah,
He supports you. That's cool.
So
supports you.
Yeah, that's my point. If Cone, however you pronounce it, is having such an issue with the game, I'm playing something else. And to that measure, I know you've been, like I said, you've been playing Apex,
Mhm.
Odis, and we played some games the other night.
Yeah.
Is that as a result of you feeling like Destiny's a bit dry to like this point? Essentially, you're starting to get towards the point of looking at it as, oh, Destiny shit. Not maybe using those exact words, but
I'm gonna say this, and I always say this to Five and the others when we have conversations about the state of the game. I'm never gonna stop playing Destiny. Okay.
yeah, same.
The fact that I have the friends that I play with on a regular basis is the biggest factor that makes me come back to Destiny over and over again. Okay. The reason why I'm dabbling in other games this season more than other seasons, the deciding factor or the thing that kind of put me over the edge was the power grind, and they're addressing that in
Yeah.
the state of the game. So to me, when I logged in and I had to grind 50 power levels or 40 power levels to get to 1300, and the only way to grind that 40 power level was to do 8 bounties for every single vendor in the universe, and to do this and that, things that
We've been
if
doing for
I've
5
been
years.
playing this game for 6 years. Okay, I've been playing this game for 6 years. I'm an end game player. Okay, I can't be like, okay, I just created my account. Okay, I need to go do some no. I've completed 70 raids in one season. Okay, I've had the new raid. I did it 70 times.
Yeah.
Okay, not every time I was getting loot, but I did it 70 times. Help people get through it, etc. It's almost like saying doing bounties for powerful gear is like beneath me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like entitled, but that's how I feel. That's
It's
how I
how
feel.
a lot
That's
of
why
the
I'm like,
it's how a lot of the like end game players feel as well. It's like,
Yeah.
why should we have to, like, last week I was able to do GMs, now this week I can't even do a heroic.
yeah,
Like
mm-hmm.
it like you said, they're addressing it, and we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah. I want to know how Five feels about it, but for me, that's what it was. And seeing Anubis play and the fun that he was having on Apex made me want to try it. And I tried it and I enjoyed it. Is it something that I'm going to be playing 40 hours a week like I play Destiny? Hell no, no way, no way. First of all, I don't have enough friends that play it. Second of all, I'm going to be playing Destiny. And Destiny is always the priority. But for me, that's what made me kind of, for the first couple of weeks, be like, hey, you know what? Today, I'm not going to get on Destiny because I don't really feel like it. And it's not because I hated the game. It's just I didn't feel like it, And I agree with you when people go out and turn around and always saying, like, this game is bad, this game is bad. I'm like, look,
Go and play something else.
you're putting that out there and it's just happening, right? You're saying this game is bad. You're changing your own mindset around the game. Which means that you're not having fun anymore. Take a break, man. Take a couple of weeks. Go do a single player game. Beat that game. Get all the trophies if you're on PlayStation or whatever. Get all the achievements, and then come back to Destiny. I did that a few times last year. When I was still on PS, and the season of Arrivals was hella long. Like, hey, let me go and play God of War.
Mm.
Fantastic game. Love playing that game. Like, put all kinds of hours into it, beat it. But after that, it's over. The game's over. Destiny, like they said, that's what they want. It's like a never-ending world. There's always things to do, etc., etc.
Yeah, like that's
Jimmy.
Jimmy just said in my chat. I went and played Final Fantasy 15, 14 even.
Exactly.
I was mixing up the Roman numerals.
What did you think about the Power Grind 5 this season? Like, is that something that turned you off to the game, or because I know you like it? I know this is something that you love doing, but
It's to the extent like when I say the power grind part that I enjoy is the pinnacle aspect of it, where you actually have to do some higher end content, in order to move yourself up and things like that. That aspect of it I enjoy, but like, do I enjoy doing bounties because I I know I do them all the time? Like, no, I do it because obviously it's part of the game, and me, I'm just a completionist, just in general. So like with a game like Destiny, like sometimes, and we all go through it, the content can get dry. it can get dry. So it's a way of me basically finding a different way to quote unquote challenge myself.
Hmm.
But as far as the specific power grind, the changes that they're making, I'm much more open to those. Because to your point, I am like you, Otis, in regards to like when a new season comes, I want to be able to play the story mode or whatever it is on the hardest mode that's available. You know what I mean? So it, like so it can really stretch out the content and get a feel for like how tough it's going to be moving forward when you get ready to go into like other high end activities and stuff like that. Honestly, also I think it's better preparation for like newer players or players that consider themselves casual players. They want a chance to challenge themselves.
Hmm.
Like let them have the chance to do that.
So you
But
don't have to spend half of the season doing
trying
bounties to get powerful gears
right,
to reach
right,
the pinnacle activities of that
Well,
season. Yeah, I like
right.
yeah, there's the point in it. Like when you think about it, currently you have 40 and then the 10 pinnacle levels, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, you don't want to spend half the season if you're a casual player playing 2 hours a night doing that maybe doesn't have chance to get a team together for raids, or you get a team together once a week to do a raid, and that's like
Mm.
your huge boost, and then you spend the rest of the week doing your powerfuls to sort of even out, so that next time you go into the raid, you get your huge boost again. You're not just sat around the same
Mm-hmm.
level. Like you
Mhm.
don't want people sitting there doing that for 40 levels. Get to what 2 weeks from the next season, and then they start doing the pinnacle grind, because the likelihood is with RNG and everything, you're not going to get to the pinnacle grind. Like not going to get
Nope.
to actually hit pinnacle cap,
Mhm.
and therefore they're not going to do the pinnacle activities that we're on about, like
And
GM stuff.
And even on top of that, if you think about it, like people like and during this entire power grinding trip as a kid, like think about it. What are you doing bounties? What kind of enemies are you facing when you're doing that type of stuff?
You fight
People that you can
facing the
blow on and destroy,
easy
right?
shit, yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Right, you can destroy them. Then they get introduced to something like a dungeon or say a master, just a master nightfall. Then it's like a completely different transition to them because it's like, yo, I wasn't doing any of this crap before.
Mhm.
I've been grinding this whole time, and then it's just like it goes from like to them 0 to 100 because
Yeah.
you've been having the I guess it's not even a luxury, but you've been having the perception that what you've been grinding these last 2 weeks to power yourself up, as high as it's gonna be once you get into that high end activity. But when you get into the high end activity and realize like, dang, this is a completely different dial from what I've been doing the last 2 weeks. As a new player, I would get discouraged and be like, man, forget it.
Mhm.
Because like how many of a lot of us are we grinding, we're doing the same thing that they're doing. We know we've been playing this game for years, so we know how to power ourselves up so we can get to a point where we can do the high end stuff and practice the high end stuff so we're used to it and things like that. But new players have no idea. They're
Mhm.
just following whatever the quest line says. So it's like I think it causes a skill gap, if you I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It causes a skill gap in the game that we don't necessarily have to have. Because, and to your point, it would be a lot easier for those guys to find raids and stuff like that if they're at power level. People more open to teaching them things like that. If they don't feel like, okay, well, he's always down here. Because people have, and I hate this community sometimes, but that bothers me too. Because you see somebody like, oh, he's low level. That means he doesn't know how to do the game. So you automatically kind of write him off. That person can potentially be great. They just don't know what the hell is going on. You know, to help move themselves to a different level. So it's like you. I think that'll help with the bridge of the gap of that, and then also kind of kill a lot of the noise about this content being too tough and this and that. Or I can't do that because of this.
Yeah.
Like
Well, to be fair, I
this
think
is a
as well,
positive. What? Go ahead.
to
Sorry.
your point about like doing the GM stuff and getting like more players into them, like the ones that would consider themselves casuals, getting them more into your GM, your raids, your dungeons, etc. It allows them to do that faster. You think about like now with the guilding system, you have what 9 weeks maybe normally with regards to GM to get Conqueror, and then now they've got the
Mm-hmm.
guilding system to guild it. Think about it this way. Now they're going to. I've got the state of the game up now on screen. They're going to do.
Yeah.
Let me find it. They're going to do 10 levels instead of 50 right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Frankly,
be
they could have
going
done
directly
15.
you're going directly into the pinnacle power grind rather than, doing a power grind, then doing the pinnacle power grind. The fact that they're doing that now means basically they can turn around and go, okay, we are 2 weeks into the season. Boom, there's your GMs. Start doing them.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be people that hit that pinnacle cap. There's going to be people that hit, plus 20 on their artifact that are going to be brought down to the right level using contest or whatever the modifier is in a GM.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have more time to do those GMs. You're going to have more times to guild it. You're going to have more time to get more people into that higher end gear and doing the higher end content. One thing I do wish they'd done is with the dungeons that they, because they did the whole reissuing of the gear for Dreaming City and the Moon, and they done away with the guaranteed masterwork of gear from Pit of Heresy. I think if they're gonna what they've done with that, I think they should have basically said they are now all alongside Prophecy, Pinnacle, or like powerful tier 2. So it like literally gives you 1+1 level or something. Give more people more reason to going there and chase the gear from there, especially with transmog coming, which again is in the state of the game. Rather than I know personally that Waking Vigil's in that particular piece of content in the Dreaming City. Let's go and chase it. Like, do you know what I mean? New players that have started playing since Forsaken, well, not since Forsaken, like since after Forsaken, like since Shadowkeep or whatever, that haven't necessarily touched the Dreaming City because there is no necessary reason to go and touch it unless your friends who are experienced players say, "Come on, we're gonna go and do this." Like, do you know what I mean? Get them interested in doing that content for a reason that is helping. Especially now, like with Beyond Light coming out, and like in the September that we had it's supposed to come out, we had on Xbox you had the base game is free anyway, but you had the base game, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and then when Beyond Light came out, Beyond Light was also added to Game Pass. So people who own Game Pass now can play the entirety of Destiny, other than the seasonal stuff, for free. If they own Game Pass. And let's face it, £10, $10, whatever it may be over there, per season, for seasonal content, 3 months, like, every 3 months is not that much of an issue, and you're already paying, like, here it's £11 for Game Pass Ultimate. So let's say $15 at a push for Game Pass Ultimate. Like, do you know what I mean? But they're not giving people a reason to go back into those dungeons other than, oh, my friend said that Waking Vigil or name the shot. What's the shotgun? I think Waking Vigil the hand cannon.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
But anyway, like other than like me saying to my
Retold tale.
Retold tale, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than us as experienced players turning around to our friends that are less experienced, that maybe just started playing and saying, "Look, these guns are good. We need to get you them." Yeah, Jimmy put it in the chat as well. Retold tale. Like, other than us as experienced players saying these guns are good, we need to get you them. Like, they have no reason to go and play that content. If you've got a fire team of new players, they're probably not gonna touch it. They're gonna go, like you said, 5. Okay, what is what's my quest step saying? Right, I've got to do this. I've got to go and do powerful. I've got to go do pinnacle. Like, that's it. Like, the casual players are just following instructions. They have no knowledge of the game. Bungie need to sort of give more reason to go and play the other activities to give them that knowledge. At least give them the
think
option, sort of thing.
The onboarding quest that they have every season was a good start to that.
Yeah.
They just need to do something along those lines with the other content that we don't see as much, as well as giving us reasons to go and play it.
So, another thing they've changed with the state of the game is they are. Well, firstly, let's get the big downside of the state of the game out of the way, which is that Witch Queen has been pushed back to 2022. Early 2020. They do not give us a month, a date, or whatever. They just say it is coming. And
I'd say probably mid-Feb.
Yeah, more than likely. Maybe even early Feb, which is when this season.
Early
Was it
Feb,
this
late Jan would
season?
be nice.
Yeah, this season
but
started late Feb, right? Early Feb.
yeah,
Early, well, 2 weeks ago. It's the third week now of this season.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so maybe I could see it coinciding with what would have
it
been
started
this.
February. Yeah, February, the first week of February next year.
Yeah.
Maybe January. Who knows?
So one thing I will say on that front is there's not going to be a lot for, like, game-wise, them competing. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, the release time.
I think it was a good move. Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly think it's a good move in my opinion because, to your point, when you what's the launch usually like fall, right? So
Yeah.
what, September,
Yeah.
October, something like that. So
Right.
you're talking about
Usual.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Call of Duty.
Battlefield, whenever
I
they
don't
do
know.
one.
Yeah, everybody that comes out with something new,
Christmas.
something Tom Clancy, like going into the holiday, they always launch it at that time.
Yeah, it's always between
So-
September and November.
Yeah, so I think it's a good move because like I think this is a time slot that's kind of like, man, not much is going on as far as like new stuff, new content obviously is being launched.
Yep.
But to the extent that it would be, say, toward like going toward the holiday season, it's not as bad. And I just think that this is a very good move. Number one, I think that also not like rushing this, which I think is important because if they come out half baked like they kind of have been here lately, I would say probably with the exception of, I don't know, season 12 was not that great to me, if we're being honest. If they can kind of get that to a Taken King-ish type level again, I think take the time you need. And
Yeah,
the
exactly.
changes that you're already introducing are very much welcome. So if that is going to be a representation of what y'all coming with the Witch Queen, hey, take your time, get it right, launch it right, make sure everybody get a chance.
I mean, I took when we first heard this news, me and Kit was like, Fiend was playing with Kit, and I was just in the chat, and I turned around and went, "Oh, really? Like, get your fingers out your ass," because I hadn't read. Yeah, I didn't see like the reasonings behind it. I didn't see all the the plans and stuff. And just quickly before I carry on, Jimmy said in the chat with regards to what we were just on about with Chatted Friend and Pit Heresy, it doesn't give any inclination on the director that they have any sort of relevant loot. So unless you read the TWAB or the game notes, you have no reason to ever go in it. That's my exact point.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But yeah, so like I hadn't so I was just looking at it as, oh, more delays, like, because I'm a passionate Destiny player. Like, I want, like we all are, we want to play the new shit as quick as possible. I just hope they don't do what they did with the Rivals, in a sense of, okay, now we've got to stretch this out until Witch Queen comes out, and they just basically go, okay, end of this season is this time. This is where Witch Queen would have been, but we're going to now do this seasonal content, and it's going to be the new arrival. And it's going to lead up to Witch Queen. It's going to be like a kick up in gear of, oh, like Savathun is doing this, and Ziva Araf is doing this, and we like the theory is right now that at the end of this season we're going to ally with Kaito, we're going to find Callus or whatever. Like, they're going to be a big kerfuffle sort of thing going forward.
I think it's going to happen anyway, but it won't be as bad. And the reason I say that is that when they delayed last one, they didn't have quite as much advance notice on it.
Yeah.
Beyond like
So they've got a lot of time to make the tweaks they need for the season or two before it to lead into the new date fairly well.
And to that point, Bungie, if by some shade of the miracle you ever hear this, watch this, see this, whatever, like, props to hell and back for realizing this early on. We're in February. Oh, we're not going to be able to cover this in September. We're not going to be able to cover this in November like we did Beyond Light. We're going to have to push it back to 2022. Like, this early on, fucking huge prop. Chef's kiss for realizing that. You know what I mean?
I think that like, obviously it sucks, right?
Yeah.
We want to see Witch Queen come out. We want to see all the new content. But that's a normal feeling to be disappointed. On the positive side of this, the fact that this announcement comes, 6 weeks into the year, into the new year, is absolute positive. It's a sign of
Self-awareness.
planning.
Yes.
Okay, of planning, in the sense that, Season of Virals was extended because of COVID and because of their restrictions, and then they had to announce the pushback mid arrival season. Right now, we're 2 seasons ahead of what would have been the arrival season.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, because we've got the rest of this season,
what's
next season, and what would be the arrival.
exactly what's stopping them from making another season, content for another season? The season of this hunt was a shorter season than normal. Okay, what's stopping them from putting out a season that is the same size at the end of what was originally planned for Beyond Light's season cycle, right? And on top of that, they still have events in their back pocket that they can pull out. They have Festival of the Lost. They have the Dawning. Who knows? Fingers crossed. SRL. You never know.
SRL racing, baby.
But they
Bring
still
it back.
have that in their back pocket, right? And here's the other thing. Okay, they low key talk about Venus in the state of the game. What does that mean? Are you bringing back Venus?
Jimmy raised a valid point. Season of the Hunt was the usual, like, length.
90 days?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
It seemed like it was shorter.
It did seem shorter because of the content, and part of that was it was not originally designed for the new yearly model of all the content is staying for the rest. It was designed for the old. It's here for 3 months. Get it while it's hot, or get the fuck out model.
Right.
You know what I mean? The FOMO model
it's
is I'm going to start calling it.
It just felt
And it was
super short.
Yeah, it was super dragged out. Like, we didn't get the Hawk Moon mission till, like, what, 3 weeks before the end?
Right.
Yep.
The random rolls, like.
Right, we got Hawk Moon like 3 weeks in, and then the random rolls came like 3 weeks before the end.
Yeah. As Jimmy said, it felt short because it sucked. But again, it sucked because it was designed on the old 90 days, it's here. If you don't get it, it's gone model, not the it's here for the rest of the year.
And you probably spent at least half that time like grinding to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
Right. And we also had the
in order to
arrival
get into
season,
it.
which was like 180 days, fucking half a year.
Yeah.
Literally right
Thing as
before.
well is that if you've got something that's like a regular size, if you've got something that's extended, like to the amount that Arrivals was, right? You start getting used to like that sort of length and going, okay, well, we've just had a season, it should be about this long. Wait, this one's only, well, that's short.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
So
part of the
for a few days I started eating bowls of like, I don't know, 10 Weetabix or whatever. And all of a sudden, like the next week I'm having bowls of 3. I was like, well, this is nothing. I could just have like 3 of these.
Just a reference, Kit. Weetabix aren't in the US. I found this out because of Baggy, so yeah, that analogy doesn't work.
Wheat biscuits, like sort of like a block of cereal.
Yeah, me and Karma have tried to explain this to Baggy, to the point now where Karma's name in D2 every day is Weetabix, because he mentioned it once, and it's yeah. I'm not gonna go into it.
That was a bad analogy. Sorry about that, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So,
you get the point.
You get a bowl full of cereal and then half a bowl. It's gonna feel. Yeah.
Yeah. They're giving themselves enough time to come up with content to fill the gap.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. and that's great that they're saying that right now. Also, when they push back Shadowkeep, when they push back Beyond Light, unfortunately for Beyond Light, the season that came with it was even worse than the season of the Undying.
Yeah, it was a transitional
like
season.
Jimmy's saying, like the season that comes first with the expansions have always sucked.
Yeah.
And that's true. Season of the Hunt, season of the Undying, where we spent so many freaking days looking at that portal getting built next to Ikora, only to freaking defeat the Undying Mind the same way we've been fighting that other thing, So
Yeah.
I think that the last season might be trash, thinking about it. Set your expectations properly. Like when October comes around or November comes around next year, don't expect to have a banger of a season. If it is, excellent. If not, keep in mind that they just came up with that on the fly, right?
It can
That's
go
the thing as
one of
well.
two ways, in a sense of
Yeah.
it can drop like a lead stone, like you say, and it could be that November's season this year, because obviously that's when, like, September, November time would have been when Witch Queen would have come out, could be as is traditional the trash season. Or, as I
Right.
said, it could go the other way and be exactly like Arrivals and kick it up a gear and go, okay, now we're going to show you, without actually telling you, what you're going to do in Witch Queen.
Yeah, because Arrivals would have been sick had it not been extended by an extra season, basically.
And I
'Cause it
think
was
what,
double the size.
I don't know whether you guys will agree with this, but I think what carried Arrivals quite a bit was the fact that we had the raids that were going away were infinitely farmable.
Yeah. And they can
That
do
was
something like
huge.
that too, right? They can turn around and be like, "Hey, last wish, go."
Yeah.
Because it's we're gonna delete it, or we're removing whatever the other one is, Garden of Salvation. Go farm your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So just quickly gloss over this. We are running a little low on time. We'll go to
Just a little.
Yeah, we'll go to kit notes and go seasonal power, as we've already covered, reduced to 10 instead of 50. They're making making changes to free peeking, and with regards to no ammo in swords not being allowed to be like pulled out, and no
That's
emotes
huge.
in like trials and stuff. Stasis
Huge.
adjustments, I 100% like these, but at the same time, I think they need to do something with the
They're trying to change the
freeze
system
duration
a lot.
on Revenant and Behemoth. I think they need to do the freeze duration changes they did to Shadebinder. Season 15 is going to mean the arrival of crossplay, so anybody on PlayStation that's in just wipe it, because I know you guys are in between the two, PC and PS.
Yes, yeah.
You'll be able to play with.
Mhm.
Kit's brother is on Xbox, wants to get a PC, doesn't need to. We've got a couple of friends that are still on console, on Xbox as well. Don't need to get PCs if they didn't want to play with us anymore. Great news. It's 2 seasons away. What's that? 60 days? Like,
Is
awesome.
it season 15 or season 14?
No,
15.
15.
15.
15
14.
crossplay.
Yeah, 14 is
Next season.
and it's Fog.
Yeah.
Which they
Vault of
are
Glass,
yeah, which they are doing a day one first, like, world's first
Right.
race for. Nobody expected them to do that. Returning free.
I've seen some negative comments about that from our elite raiders of the community.
Yeah, I haven't seen those yet.
More specifically, Swetsicle, which I understand what he's saying, but at the same time,
Not everybody was a D1 bet. Like,
there's a million reasons. Personally, they want to do a world's first race, give out a belt. I'm all for it. Go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for us, it's going to be more about the 24 hours, get that emblem. So I'm happy that it's going to be there, and there's going to be a 24-hour emblem away.
they've also announced that they're, before the end of the year, they're looking at adding a master version of Alterglass, and that they're really excited about adding master and grandmaster difficulties to altered
The dungeons,
like dungeons
Oh,
and
baby.
raid.
So am I. That
Finally.
excited me.
Finally.
So
I don't think they're going to redo the Last Wish and the Garden Master, in my opinion.
Right?
But the dungeons
It's
would
a
be sick.
it's a twist of that world's first run though, and I think people need to
Ah.
make sure they read that because
Yeah.
there are challenges within it that you have to complete
Yeah.
in order to get. It's not just about boom, who can get to the end the fastest, get the boss down, burn them down, get up out of there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be challenges in between. I'm almost certain they're probably gonna have something around those. You remember those freaking harpies?
You
They
know
were
what?
like tanks.
Since you mentioned it, Otis, I just want to cover this real quick. It says, should expect the raid team to have a few tricks up their sleeves when you tackle the depths of Venus this summer. Like you said, Loki just saying
Venus
is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying those exact words, but basically, saying it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's just that's just them dropping a hint. It might happen, it might not happen, but let's face it. You want to bring back OG Vault of Glass, you have to bring back the entrance, which is on Venus.
Yeah.
You cannot have Vault of Glass without having the fact that people can just, stop by in the area and be like, hey, what are those people doing? That was the whole thing. When you look at Bungie documentaries and stuff, that was their whole thing. They're like, we want people to drive by Venus by the entrance of Vault of Glass and be like, hey, what are those people doing? And then, realize that they're starting to raid and stuff like that. So to me, I think it's going to be highly likely that they bring back Venus before the end of the year, before the next expansion. That would be cool. So we'll see.
Okay.
Said that.
Do you want to cover Ada returning real quick and like the seasonal sunsetting thing? I do need to pee. So I'll be back in a moment.
You do that. I was just
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
say, I'm glad you mentioned that because I think they sort of missed out on a trick with that with Deepstone.
Right. Agreed.
Where you start
Yeah.
is a social area,
Mm-hmm.
except it isn't.
Yeah. It's like the entrance, right? But you
yeah.
don't see anybody loading in the
anyone
same
there, no.
instance and stuff like that.
So, just quickly going to run through some of the other bullet points that we've got here for this document, basically. So, Ada 1's coming back. Can't remember that next season or season 15. It's whenever they bring the transmog system.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to have all of the quarantine stuff you need to take any piece of armor you've got from collections and turn it into a universal ornament that you can then use in the transmog system. Let's see, what else was there?
It was quest based too. They talked about that, which for me is awesome. Obviously, it would be easy to just have anything you have unlocked in the collection is a universal ornament. But the fact that you might have to work for it has great replayable potential. I want my freaking Trials of the Nine armor. Okay, I grinded the hell out of it to get those ornaments back in the days, and went flawless about 10 times for them. But I can't use them because I need to have the gear to put them on. So that's awesome. And the fact that I might need to have to do a quest, as long as it's not like do 70 bounties for 8-1, I'll be good.
Yep. And also the game security team is doubling in size. And the other point that goes along with that is for people who are playing on consoles, particularly, SDR is coming. It was supposed to be coming already, but they had a couple of bugs with it.
There's DDoS protection, right?
It is DDoS protection, yeah. Steam Datagram Relay, basically like hopping through other servers. So like if they try and target anything, it's just like, nope. They don't actually get to the player.
Right.
Which is needed,
like a great idea. And I think it works in theory, and not quite as well in theory as in practice, but it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to them for getting that in. What else was going to be quickly going over?
Crossplay, PC and console and Crucible won't match unless the console join a PC player.
100%. That's great.
That is huge. So I was talking to my brother about this before because he plays on Xbox. And when we were going through the doc with me and Trap and stuff, and so he was sort of going through it as well on his laptop. And he was saying, because we were all wondering, okay, well, when they do the crossplay, how are they going to do the matchmaking? And I think this is probably the best way they could have approached it.
100%.
Yeah.
If you're playing on console, you will match with people on console. That's it. You don't match with people on PC. It's not like, okay, I use a keyboard and mouse on console, so I'll match with keyboard and mouse players.
Well, there's no keyboard and mouse support on console.
There isn't, but
not for Destiny. There
Yeah,
are for other games.
yeah, there are for other games, but not for this. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Given that they got the crossplay thing coming in, that could also have
Yeah,
come in because
it could.
both of the main platforms have support for it. It's just a case of having it baked into the game and going, okay, hook into the keys. So they'll only play against console players unless they party up with someone on PC.
Yeah.
That's when they decide to switch to the PC pool.
And that's
Right.
one thing I can say, like, watching some people, like, Kit, we've spoke about back in when the ALGS Winter Circuit 1 took place. We spoke about Kotagami, right? My friend that I met through Anne, who is a member of Favored, awesome player at Apex. Like, I was literally watching him. I said this to you, Odis, the other day when me and you playing with Dune. I was watching him playing pubs using Octane, and he was literally running circles around people because he's of the rank like Predator in Apex. You know, he's a high tier player. He's playing in comp tournaments against salaried players. So you can tell he's like a high tier player. He says in Apex there is an issue and has been an issue since crossplay became a thing in Apex, where if they match with console players, sometimes there's no reg, as in they'll be shooting them, but they don't actually get a registration of the damage. They get no like little number come up, no, sound effect or anything like that. And it's just down to the fact that it's essentially the same as like framing somebody on Destiny. Like if I'm playing against somebody who's playing on 120 frames and I'm playing on 60, they can frame me because they've got that extra time to react. Like, it's the same sort of situation I feel when it comes to going between PC and console. Yes, the newer consoles, 60 FPS, 120 in Crucible, like, that's great. Like, that's a good step, but they're not just throwing the new consoles in crossplay, they're throwing the old ones in as well. So, given that experience from an experienced player on Apex and saying that is an issue over there, I saw this and went and they said, PC play, like you said, PC players are going to play with PC players, console players are going to play with console players unless you have one of them join the other one's group. I was like 100%. That basically means you're only going to encounter console players when you have a console player in your fire team. Great.
Yeah.
Like that alleviates some of the issue with regards to what Apex
in PvP.
experience. Yeah.
At least in PvP. Hopefully, if you're on console, you'll be able to match in a strike with PC players. Just because it's going to increase the population and reduce the wait times, etc., etc. But in Crucible, it's 100% the way to go right now. I wish that it was fully crossplay, but they can't right now. They can't. Not with the cheaters.
It's not ready. It's not ready. No.
Because in Crucible, I'm thinking about trials and the population. So, if there was to be fully crossplay, it would be fantastic for the population in trials, for example. And we're not even talking about the changes that they mentioned, but
here's the other thing,
with
though.
the changes and stuff, it's just going to go back down.
To Trials' point, let's say you and Dune are playing with someone from Just Wipe It that's on console. Yeah? When crossplay is a thing. That opens up your player pool massively in comparison to if you and Doom were playing with 5 or playing with me. Like, because we're on PC. Like, that alone, as long as the console player is one of a skill where they can hang with the PC players that you'll be playing, or doesn't mind every now and then getting rolled just because of the difference in performances and stuff with regards to PC versus console. Like, I'm not going to say, because I'm obviously recently switched. I know 5, you've not really been on. Have you been on PC for a while? Like,
yeah, I'm about 4 months in now.
Yeah. Well, I'm what, 2 or 3, so thereabouts the same. and Kit used to switch between them. So it's like,
So I was just going to say I used to switch between them, but I should be accustomed enough to keyboard and mouse because I've been using it to play games and stuff for
yeah.
a
But
year and a half.
Here's the
more.
thing. My point to that extent is, I know a bunch of players back on Xbox that if they were in my fire team with like me and you, Kit, for argument's sake, and we were doing what me, you, and Hans did last the week that Messenger was the 3-week free win reward, and just going in, we get to the free wins, great. We don't, fuck it. We're literally just casually playing trials, seeing how good we stack up against other players, blah blah blah. Like, I know a few people who on console would just get tilted as shit because they're matching against a team on the enemy team of full PC players, and they get fucking rolled because they're not great players anyway. And and just want to make sure, like, if people are going to be going, okay, to open up our player pool, we're gonna have 2 PC players and 1 console in your trials teams, just know that the person who is on console does have a significant like FPS disadvantage potentially, because you never know what rig the opposing team is running if they're all PC players. You know what I mean? And all that like thing that goes along with that. And Jimmy says in the chat, yes, crossplay is PvE is 100% full. Only applies to PvP. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's like read this in more detail sort of thing. We're sort of glancing over it.
Speaking of detail, I want to very, very quickly skim over the TWAB because we're running low on time.
So
Okay.
just quickly before, as we go into the TWAB, bottom dollar, drop rates, they've got feedback, and the team is looking into it. DMG, after the state of the game came out, he tweeted out, Bob, still planned for later today, setting expectations, and they obviously won't be discussing any questions that come up from that article. They will give a quick update on the DDoS protection and a quick update on the ritual drop rate and the weapon. And then he obviously linked the article. And then later, earlier on, live, Odis pointed out, thank you. They obviously put out the TWAB. So they give a TLDR here themselves of the article where it's basically news about Witch Queen, Lightfall, and they are doing another like expansion. They sort of announced it in that Witch Queen article beyond Lightfall, so that's a good thing. We're essentially now in the same position we were pre Beyond Light, where we know that there's at least 3 years of expansion coming. Power, how it changes, fusion caps, PvP, stasis, port glass, stuff we've already covered. Then they go on about Dead Man's Tale, which is the new scout rifle that we've got this season. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think it's great they've released this mission so early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And the master difficulty for the catalyst stuff as well.
And not only that, but if you're interested in like
the lore
or just general completionism for your triumphs and stuff, there are like some reasons for people to keep repeating that every week.
Yeah, exactly.
As well as
even when they've got their role.
As well as the pinnacle.
So 12 this week we'll be looking at a few feedback items concerning ritual playlist rewards, an update on DDoS protection for console, an announcement. Yeah, we've covered an announcement of our upcoming Deep Zone Crypt developer dive. They're obviously going to do one of the streams that they do periodically with regard to
that's March 3rd.
Yeah,
on the Twitch and YouTube channels.
Yeah. So they're basically just going to get developers that worked on Deep Zone Crypt and talk about the design philosophy, why they decided to do certain things, where, etc., etc. So if you want to check that out, anybody who's watching, be sure to do that. Ritual playlist weapon reward. We've had these since Beyond Light. These 3, the pulse rifle Fire of Stars or something.
Stars and Shadow.
Stars in Shadow. That's it. Knew it was
Mm-hmm.
Stars
Yeah,
something.
the Xenophage,
Xeno-
the Xeno
Class.
class,
And then
and
I forget what that one.
yeah, me too.
The Gambit
see,
one.
which
I don't think I've got one. But then they added more this season. These are the Chosen. Obviously we got the Void rocket launcher, scout rifle, which I think is locked. The 2 Gambit weapons and 2 Crucible weapons. That sniper is actually like pretty good. Like
Yeah,
Yes,
I want
it's
a
very
good
good. I
roll
want
on
it.
it.
I've got a good roll. I've got Outlaw Snapshot.
Man.
So
Man, I want that.
I
I got a good PVE roll.
I am so close to resetting my infamy and still don't have a bottom dollar. I've had about 6 of the bloody fusion rifle. So.
I've not had any fusion rifle and had 1 bottom dollar. Just 1. But then I also haven't been playing as much Gambit. I need to play some more Gambit actually for.
So while the drop rates for visual weapons are not intended to be so high, I'm guessing that it's so easy to quickly acquire a large amount of rolls. Seems to be back feeling that they currently feel. Current plan is to increase the drop rate specific weapon later. So there is this season going to be. We covered the console PR or whatever. The background issues. We had obviously the hot fixes and stuff Tuesday. Some issues that will be resolved. Oh, is this a new? Yeah, this is a new one. Even coming March 2nd.
Yep.
Oh,
It's only down an hour.
yeah. So, Barrier Colossus, playing Battleground Behemoth will walk out of their shields currently, but now with this hot fix they won't. Sarge, to ensure progress is recorded for the voice on the other side quest. Oh, still, the players should make sure prior to mislabel for exotic ornament. So the other, then we get on to movie of the week. Someone and I'm guessing that's related to the recent like what's the company called? The Elon Musk
NASA,
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
There you go.
I mean, it was working with NASA as well.
Yeah.
But got to
Went to Mars.
successfully landed. Yeah.
And then they do their artist of the week. I fucking brilliant. Yeah. Then Iron Banner is currently on. And that. And that's about it for the pub, unless there's something that's jumped out at you, Kit, or Five, or
Not
Odis.
really
You
jumped
want to
out
sort
at
of quickly
me, other
go?
than the SDR thing that I've already mentioned earlier. Okay, that looks like that's about time.
Yeah. I do like that they're saying, the drop rates are low on weapons. I know people have been saying that they've done a lot of the Nightfalls as well, and those weapons feel a bit, like they're not dropping enough. So maybe they'll give those a pass next week.
Last little things before we close the podcast out then.
Yep.
Today, what's the day, wasn't it? Yeah, the
today.
Outriders
So
demo
for those who may be watching on YouTube, as you can see at the top of the... In fact, I'm going to switch scene real quick. As you can see on the screen, this is being recorded on the 25th of February.
Oh, yeah, 25th, going into the 26th.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's 26th for me and Kit now because it's 10 past 12. But proceed, Kit.
Time zones. Anyway, yeah. So the Outriders demo came out. It's a game that a lot of people who were playing Destiny, particularly in our communities and stuff, went and gave it a shot. I don't know if either of you two have had a look at it yet.
I downloaded it. I played literally 5 minutes, and I haven't gotten a chance because we were starting the podcast. So
Fair.
Yeah, I give it a shot.
Right.
we're gonna be looking at it for sure.
I enjoyed it, to be honest. I think it might be something that I could play pretty regularly alongside
Yeah.
Destiny.
I think one thing that you know, do any of you know Crusader? He's a member of. He has been a member of the DC community. He's been a member of like the Apex community, a couple of other
I've seen
communities.
his name around Twitter. Yeah.
I think he did like a charity thing with Anubis and B Noggy and Karim Cheese not too long ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He basically one thing he tweeted out earlier. I think it was him anyway. Somebody tweeted it out and I retweeted it. Is that people are looking at Outriders and doing what they did with Anthem and going, "Oh, this is Destiny killer." No, the only thing that will kill Destiny is Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not providing enough content, players go elsewhere. Destiny kills itself. Yeah.
It's not the same game. First, like I said, for me, as good as Outriders can be, it'll never be my main game because it's a third-person shooter.
Well,
For
here's
me,
the other thing, right? What killed Anthem? Because we're gonna quickly talk about that in a minute as well. Anthem has now been announced to be shut down. Like they're not doing the Anthem 2.0. Right? What killed Anthem? Anthem.
Yeah.
It wasn't that all of a sudden the entire community went, "Yep,
EA killed Anthem.
screw Anthem, we're going back to Destiny." No, it was people were playing them side by side. Yeah. Despite the fact that they were grindy as fuck games, both of them, people do it with Destiny and Warframe. They're both grindy as fuck. You know, it's not the games that kill other games. It's the games themselves that kill themselves. And so,
I mean, if it's a game that's in direct competition, then yes, like for example, 2 fighting games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fine. Or 2 racing games, or
but at the same
2
time,
action games.
at the same time, you have like Mortal Kombat and Injustice. Yeah, they're both made by Warner Brothers. In fact, Injustice came about because Warner Brothers, who owns like NetherRealm or wherever it is, the company that makes Mortal Kombat, had them make a Mortal Kombat versus DC universe game. That's how Injustice came about. People don't realize that. If it weren't for that, Injustice would not exist. And then you get like Marvel versus Capcom fighting game that they take characters from different universes. Like, so even when a game like, the games I just mentioned, the fighting games, are in direct competition, the likelihood is if the companies that make them and the companies that produce them can come to some sort of agreement, there will be a crossover. Because you can always have a fighting game character versus a fighting game character. Do you know what I mean? Like you had Street Fighter X Tekken. Like, case and point.
But like I said, like for another game to kill a different game, they have to be in direct competition for the same market of players. Outriders and Destiny have similarities in terms of the game and the deep depth of the lore and the ability play and stuff like that, but it will never be in direct competition because one is an FPS and the other one is a third-person shooter.
Not just that, you can't even jump in Outriders. Like the mobility in comparison with like Destiny isn't there.
Yeah, it's closer to Division.
Gears of War.
Or Gears of War. Yeah,
but
in terms of like the way that it plays, to me,
it's a lot like Division. Yeah. It's like, honestly, as you said, you played, like you might have like looked at it for 5 minutes or whatever. It is essentially, Gears of War meets Division. And Jimmy just said in the chat what I was about to say that Crusader tweeted out. I'm almost 100% certain it was Crusader that tweeted it. It is not a live service game like Destiny is.
Yeah, there's no constant updates, etc., etc.
Exactly. Yeah. It's essentially a Call of Duty in a sense. Here's your game, play it. Maybe in 6 months we'll release a little bit of an expansion for it. Maybe in a year we'll do that.
Yeah,
but we're not going to be constantly updating it.
exactly.
And the fact that they set those expectations needs to be addressed. And you see on the other end of the spectrum with regards to Anthem and Destiny and MMO style game where you grind out gear and stuff. I learnt today, even though it was on my Steam page and said it was announced yesterday, that a game I used to play back on Xbox and then they re-released about 3 years ago is also being shut down, and that is Defiance. So for those who don't know, Defiance was a TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel in the UK. I don't know what channel it was on in like the US or Canada. But essentially, things that happened in the TV show affected the game and vice versa.
Okay.
It was a gear-based game. There was leveling in it. It was like huge MMO style thing. Guns, third person, and cars in it, so you could drive around this huge map and all different types of cars as well. So you could always tell like people who were playing by themselves were on like little quad bikes. People are playing with squads, usually in the huge trucks they had, like the Dodge Charger. It was basically the whole story behind it was like, there was a war between aliens that came to seek refuge on Earth and humanity. That's basically it. And they're going to shut that game down from April. In April, it's going to be shut down. But to that extent, it's been going for 8 years. The base Defiance has been going for 8 years. Obviously, they changed it to Defiance 2552, I believe it's called. Or 2555.
Defiance and some numbers.
Yeah, basically.
But what I'm going to do, Intrepidus, is I'm going to thank you for talking about that, because I had planned a rather awkward transition, a pretty poor segue, and I think you just topped it. So I'm just not going to bother with the
There you go.
segue now. I'm just going to go
Di-
straight into the next bit.
Defiance 2050.
2050. There you go. You found your numbers. Wonderful.
Go on.
And you know what? I'm not even going to bother with a segue this time. I'm just going to say it's been a pleasure having the two of you on. Is there anyone who you think might have an interesting story for a future episode, or is there anyone who you'd like to feature again with?
You're talking to me or to us?
Yeah, both.
Yes.
Yeah, so both of you. So
Oh,
like,
you and,
obviously we had both of you on this time. Like Odis, if we was to ask you to come on, is there anybody you would like to be on with, or is there anybody
I
you
can give you a
two?
list.
Is there anyone that you two have seen that you potentially want to like see have this sort of conversation?
Solidus Lee is definitely a person that
Who is on
you
our
want
list?
to look into. Yeah, who's on your list probably. Anybody from the clan, Jimmy at Dunes, if you want to talk about streaming stuff, since they're pretty fresh also.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
There's a few.
There's a few. I can send you a list.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's like a list of people, man. You pretty much nailed who I would say. Yep. Civics. Civics is another one. Yeah, that's a good one too. I would say you need to try to get him in. He's a good guy. I forgot the fella name, man. I want to say he Conqueror last season, man. He a pretty good guy too. Man, what is his Tobin? That's his name.
Toby. Yeah.
Toby.
Yeah, he would be one as well.
Yeah, we love Toby.
Yeah, Toby's all.
Well,
Me and Kit raided. Funnily, you should mention Toby. Like me and Kit both raided him yesterday.
Yeah.
I raided him without Kit knowing, and then Kit was like, "Well, like, 'cause I popped into Kit's chat afterwards. Obviously, we were playing with each other at the time."
Yeah.
And Kit turned around and says, "Well, you just went to Toby, so I can't go there." I was like, "Just go with it, man!" Like, he was like, "I was like, make it look like it was a good, like it was planned."
Oh, we also have our new member, the Colonel 626.
You
who
was
just
it you
joined
raided
our
him
rank.
the other night? think?
I think it was Dunes.
Dune.
I did also. I think that same night,
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe.
He reached out to us asking if we had some room in the clan, and he was streaming at the time, so we popped into a stream, watched him, and I don't remember. He answered a question on stream, and I think it was Jimmy that said he literally described us just as he answered that question. So it wasn't too much of a question for us, and we sent him an invite, and the sheer excitement that he displayed when he got that invite, made us realize like, hey, that was a good call. That was a good
Yeah.
call. And then we
Kind
played
of
with
reminds
him.
me of my favored invitation. I was on stream and Baggy sent it me. I was like, "Wait, what? Are you?" He goes, he said something in my chat about like, "Sorry it took so long," or message me through whispers on Steam. "Sorry it took so long," or something. I was like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" And then I checked my clan thing, and I was like, "Oh God, like, thank you."
Yeah, he was super excited and literally just like accepts the invite instantly on stream. We're like, holy shit.
Yeah, see,
savage. Just like
see my mouse.
no regret.
I had the accept and it or decline in, and I was hovering over the accept, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do. Obviously, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is, like my cousin's in favored. I've been hanging out with the guys. Like, they're all awesome.
Yeah, Save
Etc.
the Blade is an
Etc.
awesome one too, man.
Yeah,
Like Save was a good guy.
Kit
He's an absolute grinder.
Kit raided him
100%.
the other night, didn't you, Kit?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, I was actually hovering. Like, bear in mind, Baggy was in my stream as well after this all happened. I was hovering over the accept, and I like knocked my mouse as I was talking. I'd like, whenever I'm not got my hands on my keypad, so I use the Tartarus and my mouse. Like I I'm doing it now. Like I'm moving my hands as I'm talking, sort of I'm animated, if you will. And I knocked as I was talking to Baggy in my chat about it. I knocked my mouse just slightly, and it moved over to decline. And he turned around in my chat and he was like, "Imagine he declines on stream." And I looked like, "Oh shit, no!" Moved quickly, clicked accept, and this like it was fun. It was like a lot of fun. Had some good times with those guys as well since. But
there's a lot of good peoples that we can refer to you if ever
a lot
you
of good
want.
people that we're all connected to.
Yeah.
So,
but it was a pleasure being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, man.
Well, I was just about to say, I'm sure Kit would agree with this sentiment. It's been a blast. It was extremely fun.
It has been brilliant. Although next time we do a double feature, we'll need to try and allocate more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No.
I guess time flies when you're having fun. You
Yeah.
We got a lot to say. We got a lot to say too. We have opinions.
Yeah, this was juicy coverage, especially with Destiny this week. Destiny news.
Yeah,
Pretty
damn.
juicy.
I think as well, Kit. That's part of the reason why I said we dropped that third Twitch topic is because I knew the fact that we were all Destiny players. We're going to be talking about Destiny a lot. So yeah, let me just quickly find someone to raid if you guys want to like drop out or whatever. Just give us a quick shout out as to where we can find you. Obviously, I had your Twitch channels open up on stream earlier, but if you want to give us a shout out to like, plug your feeds if you will, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever. Go ahead. You want to go first, Odis? Then.
Sure. You can find me easily on twitch.tv/Odis44 gaming and same handle on Twitter.
There you go.
Same for me, twitch.tv/Phiveklub.
Which is PHIV before anybody like. Yeah.
Somebody has called me P-Hive. So like P-Hive. You can't go.
Remember, not quite how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. So you're that on all three as well. Well, both as well. Yeah, Twitter and
the
Twitch, yeah.
Twitch.
Yes, sir.
And as I said earlier when we were talking about the Just Wipe It crew as a whole,
Mhm.
I had the Twitter up. If you want to go and follow them over there as well.
Right, the clan Twitter is a little different. It's Just Wipe It Clan at Just Wipe It Clan. So
Yeah.
JUSTWIPECLAN. That's the handle for Twitter.
So anybody that is watching on YouTube, the link to Five's and Odis's Twitch channels will both be in the description, and the link to the clan Twitter will also be on there as well if you want to go and follow them over Twitter. But yeah, as we said, it's been a pleasure having you both on.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Thanks for having me, boys. Y'all have a good evening, man.
Yeah,
You
you
too,
too.
fellas.
Take care.
Take care. I think we found our raid target as well. We're gonna go and raid Lee.
Hey, okay.
So Solidus Lee, everyone.
While you're getting that set up, I'm just going to announce, well, not really announce, but I'm going to say, anyone who's watching this or is listening to this on YouTube or whatever, thank you so much for sticking around. If you want to listen to our podcast on the go, we do have 3 platforms. We have TuneIn, we have Google, and we have Spotify as well. So if you use those to listen to your podcasts when you're out and about, feel free to hit us up with a follow on there.
There you go. The link to those will also be in the description as well.
Or you can just search
Well,
Horizon Lights.
Yeah, but I mean I put the link to the other 2
Yeah,
platforms prior to Spotify being sorted, because Kit managed to sort it this week. So I'm telling you, without this man, I'd be lost with regards to those. But yeah, we're going to raid Solidus Lee. I see Five's already got some emotes ready to go. June's got Solidus's. Yep, there you go. Here we go with the emotes. Anybody that isn't subbed to Lee or Five or Odis, but is subbed to me, you can use the Love Beam emote. If you're not subbed to any of the 3 of us or Kit, so 4 of us, you can use the Twitch generic raid emotes, which is the get real quick.
just formulating some emotes. 1 second. Who's what would be a good idea? Let's
Where's my Twitch ones? Oh, I clicked the wrong. Frick. Okay, apparently my Twitch emotes aren't loading in. So it's the like little bomb thing and the pickaxe. You probably know which ones I'm talking about. If you spend any time on Twitch, probably know the ones I'm talking about. Yep, them
well,
ones
it's for
that
me
Kit
as
just.
well.
There you go. God knows, man. Issues with emotes stuff. But yeah, we're gonna raid Kit, Solidus Lee. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. As Kit said, and thank you very much, and good night.